Have you ever wanted to make your own toon or anime water shaders for your video games or animations? Inspired by Legend of Zelda, I use this water shader all the time, and now so can you. Okay, open up a fresh version of Blender. I'm going to be using Blender version 4.1, but I have tested this in all the later versions of Blender, including 4.4 and higher, and it does work in all of those versions that I have tested it in so far. This is going to be done in Eevee. I find this best for toon shading and things that are non-realistic. So, with your default cube, go ahead and select it and nuke it. I will have screencast keys on the bottom right hand corner for your convenience. Go ahead and Shift A, Mesh, add in a plane. We're going to change to the material preview mode here, and then I'm going to immediately jump down into the material properties down here, hit new. I'm going to rename it something like water is fine. And then I'm going to scroll down the material properties down to blend mode, alpha blend, and change the shadow to none. All right, so in your water shader, and if you've been a watcher of my channel for any period of time here, you'll know that I love to get rid of my principal BSDF. We're going to go ahead and Shift A and add in a mix shader. I'm going to go ahead and plug that shader into the surface. And we're going to go ahead and add in a emission node. We're going to plug that emission node into the bottom of that mix shader. I'm going to Shift D, add in a color ramp, and we're going to plug that into the top of the mix shader. In between that color ramp and the mix shader, we're going to hit Shift A, search for an invert color node, and drop it right in between them. What that does is it literally just flip-flops the black and the white values. It inverts the color. We're going to leave it on a factor of 1, which means complete inversion. Alrighty, we're going to go ahead and drag this color of the color ramp into the emission node. So now we are feeding color info into this, which is just black and white currently. We're going to go ahead and Shift A and type in mix color, and we're going to plug the result into the factor of that color ramp. We're going to hit Shift A and look for a Voronoi texture. Oops. Shift A, look for a Voronoi texture, and plug the color into socket A. No. And then we're going to Shift A and look for a math node. We are going to go ahead and change this to subtract. Put the distance of this Voronoi into the bottom socket. Shift D this Voronoi and plug the distance into the top socket. Now it's super important that both of these remain the same. So if you don't want to keep changing this scale and then copy and pasting the value into this scale and making sure all these numbers are the same on both these Voronoi textures, then it's much easier just to Shift A and type in value. And you can plug the value into each one like that, and you can change both at the same time using just this value node. If you click on the value node, right click and hit rename, you can rename them. So this is now your scale. We're gonna need one more, and we're gonna go ahead and call it W. If you change both 3D options on both Voronoi textures to 4D, we'll plug the W that we just made into the W that just appeared on both those Voronoi textures. So now you have a W factor on both of them as well. If you do not have Node Wrangler enabled, go ahead and go up to Edit, Preferences, and under Add-ons, type in Node, and Node Wrangler will appear. Go ahead and check that box, hamburger menu, save preferences, and you can go ahead and exit out of that. Inside your shader editor, click on the Voronoi texture and hit Control T to see Node Wrangler at work. Just going to go ahead and make a texture coordinate and mapping node for you. You're going to plug the vector of that mapping node into the bottom Voronoi as well. Now, I think at this point, you're probably saying nothing's happening, right? Well, go ahead and plug this value of the subtract into both A and B. And on this color ramp, we can move these sliders in towards each other. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this black all the way over, hold Control and left click to add another slider here. And we'll make this a like a blue color, and make this one a darker blue color, and we can always mess with these a little later. Okay. So now at this point, you're probably thinking, I really don't see anything happening. Well, if you have set up your nodes exactly like this, then this one magic thing is going to change it. So right now we have a bunch of squares all over this square. It may not look like it, but that's exactly what we have. We need to round out some of those squares in order for Blender to be able to interpret the data that's coming across for color and for the texture. If you go to this top Voronoi texture, change F1 to smooth F1. I made a mistake here. On the invert color, we're going to change it from shader up to factor, and then we're going to go ahead and plug this emission into the top of this mix shader, Shift A, transparent BSDF, and plug that into the bottom. Okay, now in one simple move, we'll go ahead and turn this into water. If you have your shader set up exactly as I do here, go ahead and pause the video and copy it. Make sure you didn't make any mistakes. We are going to change this Voronoi texture from F1 to smooth F1. And now if you mess with your scale, you'll see you get a pattern appearing. All you need to do now is mess with your color ramp to get your desired effect. There you go. I think that looks pretty good. If you go to your transparent BSDF, you can change the color to, say, some sort of bluish looking color. I'm going to go ahead and add in a plane underneath it so you can really see what this shader looks like. And I'm going to give it like a brownish looking color to, I guess, replicate, I don't know, say under the bottom of the ocean or something. Make it a little bit darker. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and enable bloom and turn up the emission strength of the water just a smidge. Okay, a couple more things here to really sell this effect. I'm going to turn the scale up a bit there. I'm going to turn the color ramp to constant, and no, you do not need to do this, but you can change it to constant to kind of get, way more of a toon looking effect there. Over, move that over. You can make them thicker, thinner, however you want it to look. I think something along this line here looks pretty good, very toon or anime-esque. This W factor, if I hit hashtag frame, and let's divide it by, 300, enter, and hit play, you can see now our water is starting to look a little bit more like toon shaded water. You can change this constant to B-spline to make it look a little softer. You can change it to cardinal to make it look a little less soft. But I just like the way the constant looks. Totally up to you guys and the look you guys are going for. You can always add more colors into this by just adding more color nodes by control left clicking like we have been doing. And you can go ahead and just add as many in here as you want for the desired effect. All right, so you're really just layering colors on top of each other. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that because I just like the two-tone. On this bottom plane I added in, I'm going to just go into edit mode real quick. Okay. And inset the face and delete the face. Grab this, move it up. Extrude these faces straight down and hit F to fill that face in. You guys don't need to do this at all. This is just to show you what I'm going to be doing next. All right, so if you grab this plane, tab into edit mode, right click and subdivide it, go down to the subdivide drop down and crank it up to 10, subdivide it, one or two more times there. Go down to this blue wrench modifier, add modifier, deform, and displace. If you hit new, still in that modifier, you can now scroll down, go to this little checkerboard texture panel, and under image or movie, drop down and make it clouds. Go back to the blue wrench. We're going to turn the strength down quite a bit. Something like 0.2. Okay. You can even do 0.12. Make it a little smaller. Now we're going to unselect everything, Shift A, go to empty, planes axis, grab it, move it out of the way of your scene. It doesn't really matter where you put it. Click back on your water, and where it says coordinates local, drop that down and hit object. Under the eyedropper that appears, go to eyedrop that empty we just added. Now if you move the empty around, you'll see it will affect your water. What we're going to do is add a driver onto this empty to animate it. Go ahead and hit N as in Nancy, go to Item, and under Location Z, you'll see it moves it up and down when I scroll it left or right. So I'm going to go ahead and add for a driver frame, if I can spell here, and divide it by, let's say 20. Okay, let's say 60. There we go. So now our water is rippling, looking a little bit more realistic there. Right click, shade smooth. All right. Now the last thing to really sell this, in my opinion, is by Shift D this mix shader. We're gonna go ahead and Shift D this emission. Plug it into the bottom of the mix shader here. Shift D and look for layer weight. Plug the Fresnel into the facing on that layer weight. Shift D, color ramp, or Shift A, color ramp. And pull this factor way over and this factor in a little bit as well. And now you can see it adds these little highlights in that are popping up. In my opinion, I think that looks really good, very animated. It kind of simulates the sun playing off the waves there. You can turn this color to say like a more of a bluish color and increase the strength on that to really make it look like some sun playing off those waves. And there you go. There's the Toon animated water shader. If you grab it, Shift D it, and move it to the bottom of whatever little pond or ocean or whatever you're working on here, and then get rid of the modifier on it so it's just flat and not rippling, you can kind of get a fake caustics effect. So it looks like the sun is reflecting down to the bottom here. You can duplicate the shader, so now it's water 001, and you can just straight up make these colors super dark. Something like that. Okay, so there you go. Now you have some caustics on your water down there, making it look like the sun is reflecting down. You guys can play with that to your heart's content. But there you go. There is the water shader, Toon water shader. I think it looks pretty good. I don't know. What do you guys think? If you found this tutorial helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. I release a video every week, and I release a short every day-ish. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.